Good morning. Why am I dressed up? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. There's one of about maybe 6 reasons, and I'm trying to figure out which one it is. So yeah, I'll continue to do it. I suggest that you give it a go. Sometime, just as an experiment. Because I don't know, everyone else is doing it. Everyone else seems to be doing it on the video game that has implanted itself into our lives. If one politician in this country right now can explain to me how Australia is not a video game, I don't know. I'll do a little dance for them on the internet, and they can send me some vouchers or some tokens for me doing a dance for them on the internet. This seems to be one of the things people do on the video game that is being treated as if it's Australia. So I thought I'd give it a go. I'm going to tell a little story, and I'm not feeling the greatest today. I'm really off. There's like whatever it is that allows me to do whatever it is that I do seems to be impaired today for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm actually taking it as taking it as a good thing, because I think that means that something I'm doing is working, because it's unsustainable to voluntarily push back against a video game using all your energy and all your resources and all your spirit and soul and everything like that. It's a lot. It's a lot to take on. And so I know that I won't stop until it's finished. And so if I feel that, whatever lessening, I think that something I'm doing must be working. Now, the story I'm going to tell is about, imagine an island way down in some place that no one's ever been before that you've just found, right? And there's a place, and there's people that live there, and some of the people decide to go and live in the new place that they've just found, and some of the people decide to stay. Now, the exchange unit, or the main exchange tool, the tool that's used for exchange at the time, majoritively is gold. It's backed on gold, okay? So gold is something you dig up, and it's whatever, and people hold gold. And then there's like a marketplace that tells you the value of gold compared to the value of other things. And then this is like the economy. And then imagine that 200 years goes by, and the people are now at a point where they're reintegrating. But the people on the first place, the homeland, as you would call it, they've gone down this route where they've used this gold exchange, in combination with lots of other places. They've created like tokens that are units supposedly of this gold, but then they've realized that people actually just want novelty. So they've created these kind of like novelty tokens and given everyone a time zone card. And with this time zone card, you can play this video game that ends up turning into basically like an online brothel where as soon as people turn 18, they're ushered in, women mostly, but also men, They're kind of ushered in to dance on camera in time zone. And then people use their time zone cards to like open a window that watches them as they do that. Now, to the people that left and found the new island, this seems very, 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 very odd, because the majority of the reason those people left that island is because there was a central city district, let's just call it London, that was like it was a port, it was a trading city, it was a banking city, and so there was a lot of sinful activity taking place in this little region, and there'd be this constant pushback to keep those people in that city region. But then they bled out into they started mucking around with politics, and they started using their fantasy creation concepts to like push into the established regions of the island. And this is the reason why anyone would have gone into the unknown. Now, these people that went into the unknown, they probably took gold, but they mainly probably traded their gold for things that they could use to set up this place. And so they got to work and they set up this place. And this new place started acting like a new place. It really did. It started acting like what would be called a country, I suppose. And they kind of had this parallel development period. Now, because the population of the first place was a lot higher, they combined forces with like another place that had started that actually just broke away completely. Whereas this place that I'm talking about kind of kept in conversation. It kept like a symbolic attachment to the original place, whereas this other place completely broke off. And that third place that broke off, they went into the absolute absurd and started creating an even more fictional token, or an even more fictional, unit of measure. And their casino, their online video game, got even more extreme. And because of this, it became their export was actually they had to make sure that all regions were plugged into their video game that they called the internet. But really what it was it was the only thing left for them to do, because they had abstracted their currency or their unit of measure so much into fantastic things. They were doing all this stuff that they had to win that game. They had to distribute it all around the world, and they had to basically convince everybody to permanently live in the video game. Now, there was a point where this person who was from the island that they'd never been to, and we started communicating, and he really had to use the video game in order to communicate with everybody else, because that was where everyone was. Everyone now lived inside this video game. And so that was the only place that you could communicate with everyone else. But he noticed that if he was critical of the video game, if he brought awareness to the fact that it was a video game, if he questioned the digital god, then it was so easy, because the video game programmers just made him disappear. He was still living in the land that they had gone to. He was still walking around in the place. But because everybody had now permanently plugged themselves into the video game, this was a very, very traumatic experience, but one that was concreted in his subconscious, because he had that inner connection of his ancestors, of his DNA, of everything, that knows they had already made that journey away from this nonsense. And so to have this nonsense, and it was probably seen to be inevitable that this nonsense would eventually come knocking on the door of the new place. Let's call it a colony. Hey, let's just call it Australia. Why don't we call it Australia? Now, the real problem started coming when, because of the ultra high distribution of internet worship, which meant devoting your entire life which meant rather than accepting something in the real world, people actually just started accepting ones and zeros on a screen that was, of course, a game. It was, of course, the video game. That was how you knew. And this, although it was some pushback at the beginning, this actually only took about 10 years for people to completely turn their backs on everything and accept the video game as their reality. Now, the problem comes when we hold up the true telling of what these people have. Although this new area was a large area and it completely broke away, the one that I'm talking about, that wasn't the one in the new place, the one that created the video game, that was mainly concentrated to one tiny little island that worked very similar to the city in the original homeland. And this little island specialized the art of concentrated humanity and concentrated delusional economics. And they called it a stock market. Now, the problem is that this stock market started looking at human beings as if they were stock, as if they were livestock, that they could put into their video game and control with their electronic control system. But still, to the person, the descendant of the original people that went down to this new land, this is, of course, insanity. And he knew, because he could look back to the homeland and he could say, well, they're still putting up the fight in the homeland. There's still the city and there's still the original estates. A lot of times there's still the original households and families are still fighting that fight on the homeland. So why would it be any different down here in the new place? And of course, if they couldn't do it with the city, with an army, with their ridiculous, financial laws and all these things, I'm certainly not going to let them do it. Or this is what the person said. I'm certainly not going to let them do it with some stupid fucking video game. Especially a video game that has turned into what could only be described as hell. So this is the problem we got lured into, and I'm just going to break away. Obviously, this isn't a story. Obviously, this is the real world. It's not a story. Hey, don't worry. It's not real. It's not a real story. It's the real world, and your children are all plugged into this fucking video game. And your fucking paycheck, whatever that is, your paycheck, what the fuck is that? What is a paycheck when it's fucking coming from the same video game? But you're working in the real world, unless you're one of these video game creators. They call themselves coders, or they call themselves tech CEOs, or they call themselves Jeff Bezos. But the exchange is all wrong. You've accepted a video game entry. So you get a token, you've got a wristband on, so you can go and play at time zone. But all of your money is now in time zone money. And the problem is that provably, you have completely fucked up every single exchange. Every single, the world is being lulled into sleep while playing a sinful, hideous fucking video game. While we sit with abundance around us that is just turning into a desert. It's like exactly what you would suppose would happen. When my family broke away from that other place and came down here, that's what they were seeing on the wall back then. Oh, well, this city's eventually, they're just pushing in. They keep bringing people from all around the world to come to this little fucking palace of sin called London. And eventually they're going to overthrow us and plow us underground. The whole place is going to be a city. Now, luckily, that didn't happen in England or in Great Britain. But it did happen on the island of Manhattan. The island of Manhattan is a complete city, bar the, Central Park. Those people that left and went to America, specifically went to New York, that is what we get. Provably. Now, the problem is that sin and sex and drugs and fucking partying and boozing and voyeurism and gossip to human beings is like, it's like, you know, fucking crack. And crack. And there's crack as well. But what is going to happen to the people of the world that are eventually going to get fucking sick of this, like we did? Well, there's nowhere else to go. And because the attack on us has been conceptual, well, we're going to have to return the favor. We're going to have to figure out how to implant viruses into this video game that send people insane, that send people in their city jumping out of windows and running through fucking apartment buildings with chainsaws. We're going to have to turn this video game into real life. And we're going to have to send it in like a virus. Because this is what you are doing to us. We've already learned, we thought we could run. We came all the way down to the bottom of the fucking world to get away from your fucking nonsense. And you've fucking brought it here again. And you've brought it here again with no regard, no conversation. And you're playing the weirdest game, that this protest, this pushback is coming on in your video game, which is where all of your power lies. Every single person is paying tax, getting paid, voting, in some cases voting, communicating with their friends and family, doing everything in this video game. But the politicians are playing the one thing, and I can't believe it's still working, is that they do all the things in that except take feedback in that environment. The feedback has to come in the physical world. The feedback you have to go and do, and this is crazy because I'm having to be inside a concentration camp of video game players. It's like that movie Inception, where he goes to the place and the people are all 24/7 plugged in to a dream. That movie isn't about dreams. That movie is about the real world, and that movie is about the fucking internet. Oh, we design worlds that look real and all. It's about the internet. This is what it's about. But the real world is way fucking harder. And we could actually utilize some of the technologies. And so it's just a fucking nightmare. The problem is when you have a video game aircraft carrier on your fucking boundary, you never feel fucking safe. You never feel like, I'll just continue doing this little thing. Because there's so many of you. You are so fucking programmed to do whatever the fuck they say. You are so cowardly, you will not fucking challenge, anything. There's no talk about anything. Anyone that is called a conspiracy, all these fucking things. You call us conspiracy. You're all fucking playing video games and leaving your children at time zone while pedophiles look after them. You fucking weirdos. You complete fucking lunatics. If you're parading around as a politician, what the fuck are you? Put your time zone shirt on, cunt. Put your little fucking staff lanyard on. You work at time zone. You're not governing a fucking country any longer. Our enemies are just sitting on the horizon going, I can't believe this fucking works. All we need to do is just basically go into the video game, tell them all to kill themselves, and then we own the place. Now, you might laugh and say that's crazy, but, well, is it crazy? You know what I mean? Say that's not really that odd to think of. And it's just been proven what you'll all do. What were the percentage rates of vaccination? Of course, if you're going to put a kill device, a genocide device into a population, you're not going to say this is a genocide device. Now, I'm not saying that the vaccine was, but I am saying based on the example around the fucking world that you'd all be dead if that's what it could do. You'd all be fucking dead. Now, in the case of Western Australia, that guy's still the so-called premier of Australia. Why isn't he fucking burning at the top of a fucking bonfire? He didn't just try and burn Parliament. He basically replaced Parliament with a Tamagotchi. And you're all sitting there fucking going, yeah, I can't wait for, then this is the new world. The new economy is the online sexual economy. I know that there's parents out there getting ready to fucking train their children to be little fucking dancing fucking ponies. This is how fucking sick you are. You are the sickest fucking population of fucking psychopaths that has ever fucking existed in the fucking history of the world. And I'm surrounded by you. See, the problem is that we've told the story of economic trade and things like that from one perspective, from the perspective of London. Now, I've communicated with London because they know that it's being attempted to be fucked. And they know that they can't fucking walk this without reattaching, without establishing the conflict that's still going on. There's still families in England that want London in flames. And every single scrap of its bullshit to disappear so that we can fucking ride horses around and build walls and cathedrals. But then it gets weird because, like, well, if we don't have that whole thing, we don't have anything. So we have to play ball with them. We don't have to play ball with Chinese casinos. We don't have to play ball with fucking Wall Street fucking, delusional stock market speculators. We were an empire. And when you leave and go to, imagine like the Mars people, like we talk about colonizing Mars, right? This is going to take a while. It might even, at the minimum, it might take 100, 200 years. Why would anyone colonize Mars when this type of precedent is already there with the British Empire? Like, don't go to Mars because they will leave you up there. The world will change and they will leave you up there and you won't be able to get home. They'll leave you up there and change the whole fucking thing. Can you imagine that? Imagine going to Mars, coming back, and the whole world is a video game being controlled by 4 nerds. Like everyone's putting their children in little fucking sleep coffins while the Chinese just wait and sharpen their fucking swords. When a high enough percentage of people don't own their property and will never be able to own their property, they fucking told you, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Why will you own nothing? Because they turned all administration of the world into a video game, which is insanity. And why will you be happy? Because you'll be plugged into a pleasure palace that offers you pornography and drugs and voyeurism and gossip and all these fucking things, which they've established. Humans will continuously trade their freedoms for these things, like the Native Americans traded fucking beads for Manhattan. It's no different. You got to tear it down now. Yeah, we've got to get our fucking hands bloody. We've got to go and put our fucking politicians at the end of fucking spears, metaphorically speaking, or in real fucking bloody covered fucking world. And we've got to fucking end this. And then we've got to figure out how to rebalance the economy. And what are we going to use as the metric? And it has to be fucking something different than gold, because gold is being used as a fucking delusionary fucking thing on this. Gold was the original version of this. Anyone who loves hard currency, they go to gold because that is a lot better than it is now. It doesn't mean that it's a lot better than what it was before. See, the problem is that responsible people that are actually going to do good for their land base and for their families and things like that, they will trade seeds for gold. This is like, what is it, Jack and the Beanstalk? Oh, I traded magic beans for my gold coins. See, everyone's got this story wrong. The gold is the magic beans. The journey up to the giant. I smell the blood of an Englishman. That's the video game. How many of you have already installed your children into some type of visual thing that is kind of akin where there's monsters chasing you? Did you trade gold for magic beans? Yeah. You all did. But then even further, you traded like a place where you can fucking plant magic beans or just normal beans for magic beans, not even gold. And then there's a couple of places that just got all the gold and they're controlling it all. But there's another lever that's available to us, and this is the lever of like common sense. There is no point buying something in this thing. Think of how much has changed in 10 years. And you have a 30-year mortgage held in digital currency, you're getting paid. You actually go somewhere and do something for someone else for numbers on a screen. Yet what I'm doing here is nonsense. I'm on a screen and there are numbers around. There's a number here. There's one. There is one person viewing this. I'm scraping away at the absurdity of the whole thing because these are relevant arguments and they're relevantly directed and addressed to the relevant people. This is what governance is. If governance is seen to be avoiding conflict with its own people, yet parading around like it's in cooperation with international fucking thing, like our dickhead fucking PM floating around in South Africa with a bunch of people that are saying, kill the Boer, which means kill the white man, if you don't know. Yeah, we will kill the white man. We'll kill all the white men that apparently are leading the video game. And then we'll burn the fucking video game, except for the things that we need. And we'll basically make anyone trying to make this place serious, anyone trying to make digital currency relevant and like an actual thing. Anyone trading digital fucking stocks in pharmaceutical companies, in healthcare companies, in cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity? What the fuck is that? Can you imagine that? Cybersecurity. It's not that long ago that the idea of putting your credit card, which wasn't even real money, credit card on the internet was laughed out of the fucking room. And now people are using it to babysit their fucking children. This is how unharmonious or I don't know, I can't find a strong enough word. The internet as we know it, as it is being projected for us to be used, is not in alignment with humanity. It is a genocidal, delusional concept. Humans will not stop. It will turn into the Colosseum if it hasn't already. But not a Colosseum held by Rome or something like that, but a grand place that's in reality, whatever, like a disconnected, disassociated Colosseum where little fucking gladiator battles take place all over the place. And this is already happening held in conversation, but more than likely held in real life. That's fucked. That's so fucked. If you are working in this system, if you are being paid with digits and you don't know how to plant a fucking tree or a crop or fucking, shear a sheep or butcher a sheep or an animal to provide food or dig up some fucking turnips, then you are a fucking international criminal right now on Australian soil. The real Australian soil. The real Australian soil that my family came here for and fucking developed. If you are consuming or leaving these systems to babysit your children and then ignoring something like this, you are enemies of humanity. Now the weird thing is, it doesn't mean that the internet couldn't be good. The internet was more than likely given to us by people that more than likely wanted good for us. But the battle of perception right now is hey, did the people that give this want it to be bad or did they want it to be good? I can guarantee you they wanted it to be good. Yeah? I can guarantee you. It's just individuals have captured it and are using it for their own self-interest. And it's becoming extremely evident. If you are trying to maintain like an elite, class of humanity, then the number one thing you will do is to lower the behavior of the rest of the population so that you can use their hideous behavior against them. Now, that's actually what I'm doing. I'm using your hideous behavior against you. And I'm trying to lead you out of the fucking palace of sin. I didn't make it. Yeah, if I made it, I'd be sitting on a fucking yacht right now. I'd be at the fucking Met Gala. I'd be whatever. I didn't make it. And the truth is that neither did the people that are actually doing that activity, that are trying to make themselves look like the perfect fucking humans while they degrade humanity. That's a very strange thing to do, isn't it? Now that's the actual game. There's no allies in this communication of whoever the fuck has given us this system. Not even me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like that's their whole game. We go and, all right, we get these people. We tell them they're going to be the rulers of the world. They degrade humanity so that they fucking put our systems everywhere. And then we turn the tables on those people and then free the population. To do the next step of evolution. See, if a system exists like this, and it was seen to only ever result in the degradation of a culture and a sin, basically a sin thing in all this stuff, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't progress. See, the constant story that we're told is that we're experiencing the top, highest level of technology that we've ever experienced, or that there could ever be at this moment. But that's wrong. This is a slow release technology that has built-in markers and checkpoints and things that knows what humans will do with it. They know us better than we know ourselves. And so this is the inevitable step. Now, if you take the story of, say, Jesus, what was he doing? He did the exact same thing. How did they learn how to build this system? Well, they built it on the example of Jesus. What did Jesus do? He threw out the money lenders and all this. This is the same. It's just in this fucking thing. It's like everybody's playing a video game. But the same thing still applies. And once we retake the internet from the people that have fucking, used it for their own self-interest, they'll be fine as well. They probably know. They're like, yeah, we'll eventually get caught for this because we know that we didn't create it. That's the whole thing. If you know you didn't create it and you know you're profiting from it, you're going to take precautions so that you're prepared for when, it inevitably gets exposed. So they've got shell companies and fucking land holdings and all these things. They've got that by stripping it all from you because you've all made the internet babysit your children. You've all let the fucking internet trolls basically become your leaders and then dance you into a fucking cage. It's like the house always wins. They've taken the chips. They've taken it all already. There's nothing left. This next generation, there's no chance in them winning, so they'll tear it down. And then we need to learn how to reuse it. But basically, it's like, there's no, why do I do this every day? Because what the fuck else am I going to do? I'm surrounded by a bunch of zombies that are fucking, that are doing this stuff. Now, like, how do I do another example? Take Abby Chatfield, right? Abby Chatfield and her boyfriend, whatever his name is, Adam Hyde, right? Take them back 20 years ago. They'd just be two kind of like a dancing kind of party girl and a rock star. And they'd be doing this stuff and it'd be all fine. You'd hear like controversies about them, and then you'd hear like some cool things, whatever. They're stuck somewhere in the middle of this, right? And now we have Abby Chatfield selling dildos, basically like elevating herself to the lead feminist role of Australia. But the problem is that she's not running some beautiful feminine, internet business where she's sustainably and not sustainable, like sustainably economically viable, like what's fair trade production of butt plugs. She's buying butt plugs from China, where those people that are making those butt plugs are more than likely women who are enslaved. That is insanity. Can you imagine being a Chinese slave in a fucking Chinese butt plug factory, and then you find out who Abby Chatfield is? You find out she's just some suburban fucking hussy that went on the telly and talks a lot, and that the actual economy you're in is that you're a slave, that you make this thing that ends up costing like 20 cents and she sells it for fucking $50. And then she interviews our Prime Minister, who goes and rubs shoulders with like basically an African dictator who is supporting stadiums full of rampant fucking genocidal maniacs yelling, "Kill the white man." How is that feminism? If the black man kills the white farmer, his wife will be killed as well. Their daughter will be killed as well. Are they not female Abby Chatfield? Like, what the fuck is actually going on for this? And this is what I mean, because we're in a video game. It could only be this absurd if we were in a video game. I'll give you another clue of how to know we're in a video game. Amyl and the Sniffers, an amazing, cool rock band. I love them. They're amazing. Now, rock bands, yeah, they were famous and popular, but they were rock bands, right? Yeah, she makes a joke, "I'm the Prime Minister of Australia," rah, 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 rah. One of her videos, "You Should Not Be Doing That," she's dancing around with a guy, an actor, who was made famous by being on Grand Theft Auto. He's a character on a video game. You know what I mean? Amyl and the Sniffers fit into the video game of like Vice City and things like that, because that they're a creation of Vice City, not just the video game, but the city. So it's like, who's leading who? The video game is leading the reality, and the reality is leading the... And Chinese women are enslaved to make butt plugs so that some chatty little fucking nympho can cash in on the sexual deficiencies of the Australian women who are not being satisfied, because rather than an actual fucking rock star, you know what I mean, who holds up their end well and truly for the, in the sexual department, she's with some like manufactured soy boy. He's such a complicated archetype, but he's probably all right. But it's just, this is all taking place in a video game. It could only be that. And there's no money involved. There's no gold involved. Right? Even the Chinese slaves, you could argue whether they're not really enslaved, because say the Chinese Communist Party knows that they're playing this game. They're like, we'll just deteriorate the thing Like, no doubt in my mind that Xi Jinping sits there and he goes, I'm only temporarily enslaving my women to make butt plugs that Abby Chatfield can sell. Because if they're already at that stage of de-evolution, of societal degradation, it can't be much longer. And then I will re-liberate the women out of the factories to go and machine gun down these fucking influencers in the real street. Yeah, that's the real world. Go outside and smell the fucking roses. Go fucking stub your toe on a fucking curb. Go get fucking stung by a bee and snap out of the fucking delusion for a bit. It only took me doing videos for a year or two to sit there and watch people's reaction and think how they're like, you're insane, you're doing videos on the internet. You're insane. You go and do backbreaking labor, or you go and fucking, throw all your morals and your fucking ancestral morals and religions out the window for a couple of numbers on a screen that then you mostly spend to watch people on a screen do stuff that's, not even as good as this. At least I put on a fucking uniform and some makeup and stuff like that. Like, I monologue. This is on the fly. This is live performance. This should cost a lot of money. It's time to get the abacus out. Yeah, we can't use digital calculators. We've literally got to get an abacus. And we've got to take a temperature of the world. It's like, I want to go and find the couple in their 20s that just bought a fucking $1.5 million fucking property off their income. And it's like, I want to know whether, like, we're playing the same game, and we're not. We're not playing the same game, because I've already told you they're playing a video game and I'm not. This is why, like, I will refuse in this country. I don't think any tradesman, anyone who's doing physical trades or a physical skill, any of these things, should refuse right now to take any digital currency, because they're gaming the fuck out of us. Yeah, you've got the Chinese woman in China building the butt plug, and you've got the Australian men. We're like this. And the thing that we've already established in this country is that Australian men love Chinese women. So I think it's time for a mass marriage proposal. I am now proposing marriage to the Chinese women who want to break free of their communist overlords with the help of their, capitalist allies and brothers in arms. And I would like to set up a mass migration of Chinese women to marry the Australian men. And if the men are already married, then this is a dual thing where all Australian men are now allowed to have a second wife, because of the ridiculous circumstances that the feminist cult child mutilating, psychiatric, tech, fucking stock market, fucking, inflation delusion, Nazi cult has basically turned the world into a sex slave farm and plugged all the children in it. So, desperate times call for desperate measures. So, yeah, I'd like to utilize the new spirit of Tasmania's ferries to ferry the new wives of the Australian men to Australia, and then we can begin the process of a beautiful Australian-Chinese British Empire alliance, and hopefully we can help the Chinese people rediscover their beautiful traditions and customs and things like that, and then prepare them here by taking their blinders off. Do you know what I mean? You've tried to game it, the whole thing, but we're fucking sick of it. So I'm going to send this to Temu. And I can't wait to lay eyes on my beautiful wife to be, and I can't wait to see all my friends and brothers in arms, wrap their arms around their new beautiful wife, and I can't wait to see the look on their existing wife's face when their new wife arrives. And yeah, as I said, this is a special once in a century or a couple of century emergency situation where I've had to deal with the Vatican. I've had to deal with the King of England, the Church of England. I've had to deal with, all the types of things to allow this special conditionary marriage proposal. And I look forward to the beautiful results. I look forward to us all snapping out of a world where we're screen obsessed and covered in our own fucking juices, and back to a world where we sit down around a table and enjoy the company of our family, and we get back to building the real Australia. You know what I mean? We barge in, we fucking steal all the tools and the networks that these things. Facebook's actually sitting there waiting, and it's ready to be pretty good. Yeah. So before you bag at social media, Facebook is the backbone of the internet. Facebook is our fucking home. Like, that's where we go, and then we push back. It's counterintuitive. We use Facebook to push back on the fucking Roblox, fucking child porn, fucking Epstein, fucking casino palace. And yeah, we get back to doing it. It's a yearbook. Remember, it was inspired by yearbooks. The yearbook is a place where everyone brags about what they're going to do. That's why no one's there, because everyone knows that they're not doing anything. That's why I am there, because I know that I'm doing everything. I just got every man in Australia a second wife. And that's, I think that's a pretty good effort. So, yeah, I look forward to receiving, a few cartons for that. And because I don't drink, I'm going to re-put those cartons back into the beer economy and hopefully get some work done around here. So, hooroo. Have a good day.